What's up, guys? We got two great topics today. One, we're going to talk about how come nice isn't enough. Get deep into that one today. And the second one is how do we develop good habits? And you know, good habits, the ones I'm talking about, like waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning, shit like that. That's really hard. We always try to do, but never, for some reason, are able to accomplish that. So we're going to get into that real deep. It's your boy, Clint. And this is the Tile Free Podcast. What's up, guys? So obviously first and foremost, I want to get into the bad habits because it's the nitty gritty of the podcast. And I got a story that I'm not going to lie. I struggle with this all the time. Bad habits are really difficult. And for some reason, like half the year, I'll wake up 4 a.m. By 4:15, I'm rolling, flying through the day. Everything's beautiful. And then for the other half of the year, for some reason, it's a struggle to get out of bed before like 7 o'clock. And it takes me like 2 hours to get into my shit. And I'm just feeling lethargic and slow and heavy and just not great. So if you Google online, you see all these little tips, all this little shit that, put your phone down a half hour before midnight and, soothe yourself by reading a book and turn the lights out, like all the bullshit. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's exactly what I just said. It's fucking bullshit because this may set a good mood for you. But what you're doing is relying on outside influence to change your mind. When I was in 6th grade, I went to a school called Martin Luther King Middle School, and it was like 2 blocks from the projects. Like it was the hood. And for shout out to all my people in Seaside, California, you know what I'm talking about. And my boy Chico comes up to me. I'm in 6th grade. I'm 11 years old. And he walks up to me and he's like, yo, Clint, we're going to go have a smoke. And I was like, fuck yeah, let's go have a smoke. And I know it sounds crazy, but if you know anything about growing up where I did, that's the kind of shit that happened every day. And I had never smoked before, though. And so this was kind of a big deal for me. So we go into the bathroom. He pulls out a Newport 100. And if you guys don't know, a Newport is a menthol cigarette. So these things are rough. I take this drag like I'm Snoop Dogg going into the Murder Was a Case trial. I was high, like buzzing high. And I don't know what it was, but that feeling, I wanted it back and I wanted it immediately. So I asked my boy Chico, I'm like, yo, where did you get these cigarettes? How can I get more? And he goes, oh yeah, this girl, I'm not going to say her name because, I don't want to bust her out. But this girl's dad buys this shit by the carton. And he just leaves them hanging around the house so she can get you a pack, no problem. So I go up to this girl. I'm like, yo, I need a pack of Newports. She's like, okay, no problem. So she gets me. By the next day, I am in the possession of a pack of Newport 100s in a box. So I got these Newports and I'm excited. I throw them in my backpack, go through the rest of the day at school. I'm walking home. I'm pumped. And as I'm walking home, I realize there's a problem. If I keep these cigarettes for any period of time, somebody's going to find them. And then I'm going to be in deep shit. So I proceed to my house. I don't go inside. I walk directly into the backyard. I sit down in a private enclosed area where no one can see me. And I proceed to smoke one cigarette after another. And I knew that I wasn't going to be able to, I had to take advantage of this opportunity. And I knew I wasn't going to be able to hold these cigarettes for very long. So I smoke one after another. And I'm smoking and I'm smoking. I'm throwing the butts in this little hole in the dirt. And I bury them up. And I bury an empty pack. That's right. 20 fucking cigarettes in a row. Sitting there for a minute, probably high out of my fucking mind from cigarettes. And buzzed and lightheaded and everything else. Any normal 11-year-old kid at that point would probably not touch a cigarette the rest of their fucking life. But me, being the freaking crazy ass little motherfucker that I was, decided I wanted that feeling again. And it wasn't going to go away. I wanted that back. So, didn't smoke a pack a day, but it definitely began a habit. So, by the time I hit 18, 19 years old, I am smoking a pack a day. And I did this for years. Newport 100s in a box. Rough on your lungs. Rough. But I liked it. And when people would tell me all the time, Clint, you got to smoke. You got to quit smoking. You got to quit smoking. It's bad for your health. It smells. Yeah, I didn't like the smell, but I liked that feeling. That feeling was good. And I wanted it back every single day. I didn't want to quit. And that's the point. It wasn't until one day I woke up and decided I don't want to smoke anymore. Now, a lot of people are going to say, well, what's the reason? What was the motivation? Nothing. No outside influence made me say that. I said it. From deep down inside, I just said, I don't want to smoke anymore. And without patches or hypnotism or any of the other fucking tips that you see online, I quit smoking. Now, I carried a pack of cigarettes in my car that was one cigarette left. So it was a box with one cigarette left, and it sat in my console for several years. And I decided, okay, today I don't want to smoke. But there's a smoke right there if I want one. It's sitting right there. I can have it. Nobody's telling me. I'm not doing it for someone else. So, after a few years, disappears the pack with the one cigarette in it. And it wasn't until probably 5-6 years after that I decided I'm going to have another cigarette. Today I want to have a cigarette. So I have a smoke, put it out, move about my day. Now to this day, every 3 months or so, I'll have 1 to 2 cigarettes. And that's because inside I have decided that I don't want to smoke today. Now tomorrow I may make a different decision, but it's my decision. A lot of the problem with bad habits is that we don't think they're a bad habit. We've been told they're a bad habit. Someone else is influencing us to think that this isn't right for us. Someone else is trying to make that decision for us, and therefore we cannot justify in our mind why we should stop. So I urge you to really consider whatever bad habit you're going through, whatever you're dealing with that you don't like about yourself. Decide, do you actually not like it about yourself, or does somebody around you? And if you decide that it's actually unhealthy, if you decide that it's actually not good for your future or your kids or your family or whatever, you make that decision. I guarantee you, stopping will be a lot easier. So the next topic is nice is not enough. And I want to read you guys a quote from Dale Carnegie's book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. I've read this book probably 4 times now in my life. The first time I read it, I think I was about 14 years old. I literally highlighted like 80% of the book. My dad gave me this book, and for some reason I was really into reading at the time. I read the whole thing. Yeah, even though I was smoking. I read the whole thing, and I highlighted like 80 to 90% of this is this freaking book. So I'm going to read you guys a quote from the book. This is very important to me. I hold it near and dear to my heart, and I try to practice this stuff. This is part of making good habits. I try to practice this stuff constantly to remind myself of this. But the quote goes like this: actions speak louder than words, and a smile says, I like you. You make me happy. I'm glad to see you. So I want to kind of dissect that for a second. I think it's common knowledge that everybody in the world wants to be happy. That's what a lot of us are going after. And whatever makes us happy, we're trying to achieve that. So whether it's money or family or kids or notoriety, whatever it is, we're after this goal of being happy. Well, if you walk into a scenario with somebody and you falsely help them believe that you're after their same goal. So in other words, you walk into a conversation and you kind of ask them about their day, and then you just nod and kind of disappear as they start telling you about their day. The problem with that is you're being nice, yes, but it's not enough. You actually have to listen and pay attention to what they're saying. You see, remembering that they're after a goal of being happy, part of that happiness is not just you smiling in their face, but part of their happiness is knowing that somebody else cares just about as much about their happiness as they do. And that will get you much further on your jobs and your personal life and every other thing. And I don't want to be too philosophical here because that's not what the podcast is supposed to be about. But I guarantee you that the relationships that you have with suppliers and clients just alike are going to be much employees, helpers, if you actually genuinely care about the things that they're saying to you, if you actually genuinely care about the things that are important to them. So keep in mind from this point forward, right at the front, nice is not enough. All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. I really appreciate all the love. Like, subscribe, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, you know, all that shit. I guess it's time to get the fuck back to work.